At first, the information that I provide for you seemed quite unbelievable. You were skeptical and had doubts. And when it comes to the person of Jesus, I don't really think that we all have problems or doubts or skepticism believing that he was an actual person, living, breathing human being like you and me that existed 2,000 years ago. I don't think we really have any problem believing that. But some of the things that the Bible reports about Jesus, some of the things that they say about Jesus, I've got a little difficult problem believing that. And that's absolutely okay. I was once there myself. And this is what blows my mind about Christians. A lot of people think that faith is the absence of logic, or the absence of reasoning, or the absence of evidence. Blind faith is true faith. When in fact, that's not what faith is at all. Remember what Hebrews 11:1 said? Throw that out there, Jill. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Did you notice how much more hands went up? How much more faith was placed in this truth claim that I was making, the more the evidence was presented. But you didn't get to see it. But you get more and more and more of you. Believe you now. I believe you now. I believe you now. The Bible, it overwhelms our logic. It overwhelms and bombards our reasoning and our understanding with evidence. Evidence like accompanied by stories, witnesses, prophets, demonstrations of God's power, that He rules over the supernatural realm, and the New Testament, which is basically a large receipt showing you, demonstrating to you that a transaction is taking place, that Christ has purchased you with His blood. So within that logic and within that reasoning that people use when they approach the subject of Jesus, basically, a person comes to two questions, usually, when it comes to the resurrection of Christ. And I want to briefly look over those. First is, what proves the resurrection, Barrett? Prove it to me. What proves that Jesus resurrected from the dead? And second, what does the resurrection prove? What proves the resurrection, and what does the resurrection prove? Let's take a look at the first one, shall we? What proves the resurrection? Many things do. If you would like to talk to me, because you may have some doubts, knock yourself out. We can sit down and we can talk if I don't extrapolate more, expound more on these subjects as though you would like. But many things do. Look at verses 8 and 9. So the women hurried away from the tomb, afraid yet filled with joy, and ran to tell His disciples. Suddenly, Jesus met them. Greetings, He said. They came to Him, clasped His feet, and they worshipped Him. What proves the resurrection? That right there does. Because if you're going to fabricate a story, and if you're going to make a story up, you're not going to have women be the first ones to find Jesus in a Greco-Roman Palestinian culture. Why not, Barrett? It's a good question. I'm glad that you asked it. In the first century, women's testimony wasn't even admissible in court. So if Joe Schmo did so-and-so, guess what? And 1,000 women saw it. And Joe Schmo went on trial, and 1,000 women testified that Joe Schmo killed so-and-so, Joe Schmo would not be convicted. Because women's testimony wasn't even admissible in first century court. So if you're going to fabricate a story, if you're going to make up a story, you're going to put that men find Jesus resurrected, because men's testimony is valid, unless that's actually what happened. Unless that's an actual true statement. And it either is true or it is not. What else proves the resurrection? Tons of stuff. Look at verses 11 through 15. While the women were on their way, some of the guards went to the city and reported to the chief priests everything that had happened. When the chief priests had met with the elders and devised a plan, they gave the soldiers a large sum of money, telling them, "You are to say, His disciples came during the night and stole away the body while they were asleep. If the report gets out to the governor, we will satisfy him and keep you out of trouble. So the soldiers took the money and did as they were instructed, and this story has been widely circulated amongst the Jews to this very day. This argument is still used today by a lot of skeptics. I've researched this argument probably just as much as I have any other thing about the resurrection. And it is that Jesus' disciples came during the night and stole the body away from the tomb. Yeah. In the first century, though, this was the most compelling argument you could have as a critic. If you wanted to disprove the resurrection of Jesus, it was very easy. All you had to do was say this very argument. So, what proves the resurrection? Well, if you're going to write down a historical, accurate account of what's going on in the first century and what happens after Jesus' resurrection takes place, you're not going to put the number one skeptic's argument right after your resurrection narrative unless that's exactly what took place. Unless that's exactly what happened. What proves the resurrection? Tons of stuff does. And matter of fact, that stuff, it's called form criticism. That's what form criticism is that stuff right there. And what's so interesting, though, is that's seen throughout the entire Gospels. Peter and Peter's denial. Peter denies Jesus 3 times before he dies. After he dies, and supposed resurrection, what has happened? He's put to shame for denying him 3 times. What's so interesting is that Peter is the number one head honcho of the first century. And if Peter was only living for himself, if Peter was only trying to make money, gain power, and gain notoriety off of this supposed resurrection that supposedly happened, then he's probably going to remove, and has the power to remove, and edited some of that stuff from the tradition. Unless that's what happened. Unless that's what absolutely happened. What proves the resurrection? Tons of stuff. But the number one thing that proves the resurrection, that sets more people apart from everybody else in the scholarly world, is this. The reaction of the disciples after the supposed resurrection of Jesus Christ. Before, they thought Jesus was this. They thought he was a military leader to lead a rebellion against Rome. That's what they thought. They didn't know he was the Messiah like we think of him today. They thought he was a political insurrectionist to lead a rebellion against Rome. And when he dies, what happens? They disperse, they scatter, they fear for their lives because they don't want to die as well. They leave. Jesus isn't who he thought he was. Just leave, just run for your life. But the book of Acts records a completely different side of the disciples. We see them standing up boldly saying, "You crucified Jesus, you put him to death, and he's resurrected from the dead." And not only that, we've got 12 men who are going to absolutely, completely, 100%, fundamentally change the entire world upside down. The entire Greco-Roman world. 12 men, 12 hill folk from Galilee, uneducated, unlearned, go on this massive Christian movement. And they do it without fear of being persecuted. They do it without fear of death. Why? Because they saw something that they couldn't explain. They saw something that transformed them. What proves the resurrection? The disciples' response does. What else proves the resurrection? 4 Gospels, 4 biographies. All of them had different discrepancies. All of them say some different things about Jesus. All of them are 100% accurate. Kind of like my story today about going to the bank. I provided you with 4 different stories. Some of them had some minor discrepancies. Some of them had revision, but guess what? It didn't change the fact that I had $2,815.34, did it? Nothing did. Just like the 4 Gospels, don't change the fact that Jesus Christ resurrected from the dead. The absolute fundamental thing in all of Christianity. What else proves the resurrection? Tons of stuff. Tons of stuff. What about the historical documentation of Jesus recorded outside of the Bible as to who people thought he was? What about the documentation of Tacitus or Josephus about the expansion of the Christian